All right, welcome to day 9. And we're doing 1 Kings 2 to 2 Kings 8. Kings is different than Chronicles, even though it's very similar. Kings is going to begin with the story of Solomon, and then it's going to talk to us about how Israel and Judah split. Judah is the southern kingdom with the tribe of Judah and Benjamin. And then the 10 northern tribes will be called Israel. Israel is the northern kingdom. Judah is the southern kingdom. And eventually, the northern kingdom is going to be wiped away by the Assyrian crisis, and then never to be seen again, in fact. And then, so they're called the lost tribes of Israel. And then the 2 tribes that are not lost are Judah and Benjamin. Jesus is of the tribe of Judah. Paul the Apostle, for example, is of the tribe of Benjamin. If you could trace your lineage back. So the Babylonian crisis happens to the tribe of Judah, or rather the kingdom of Judah, the southern kingdom. The Babylonians carry these people away into captivity for 70 years. And then when they come back, they all trace their lineage, and so if you're of the tribe of Judah or Benjamin, you're a pureblood, and as well as some Levites. Okay, so Jeremiah is most likely as I said, the author of the Book of Kings. The Babylonian Talmud writes this. Jeremiah needs to explain to the exiles who are sitting there in Babylon, like, what the heck is going on? How did this happen? He needs to explain to them why this happened. So in some sense, 1st and 2nd Kings is a theodicy. It explains why bad things happen to good people, or bad things happen, period. And Jeremiah is going to explain we're not good people. We're actually idiots. Jeremiah is going to, 1st and 2nd Kings is going to focus on the prophetic work of Elijah and Elisha. Chronicles does not. Chronicles has other things to attend to, other needs. Jeremiah's needs are attending to, his talking to his boys. They're asking him these questions, and then focusing on the work of these prophets. Now, what Jeremiah is going to do, they're like, okay, how did this happen? Things were so good. And then these other kings just messed everything up for us. And he's like, well, actually, that guy Solomon, yeah, Solomon, he was the best. Yeah, he was kind of not the best. And so in the book, you're going to see, Solomon's growing and getting lots of gold, violating the book of Deuteronomy, multiplying wives, not supposed to do that, book of Deuteronomy, multiplying gold, not supposed to do that, multiplying horses, multiplying chariots, doing all the things that you're not supposed to do. But for them, they're going, well, that's good, right? Because the blessing of God that's the blessing of God, isn't it? Like might makes right. Isn't that the blessing of God? And Jeremiah, it's like a roller coaster. That's basically the book of Kings. Okay, and so they're going up the roller coaster, right? And the first drop on a roller coaster is always the most important. Everything else is like fueled and propelled by that first drop. And the first drop is always the best drop, right? And that's the book of Kings. Solomon is the first drop, and it's going to be wild for his hearers.
In a time where truth is under attack through distraction, disinformation, and the chaos of postmodern ideologies, it's vital for us as Christians to strengthen our faith through education. Theos delivers a distilled Bible college experience for all Christians right in your pocket. Binge like Netflix or join cohorts for guided study. From full-time church staff to Christians in any vocation, Theos fits your life and calling. Equip yourself, your church, and your ministry with courses on all aspects of the Christian faith, taught by leading scholars, ministers, theologians, and apologists. Come learn non-woke theology at Theos.
They're going to be like, what? We thought Solomon was the best. He's like, actually, no, he's the worst. He's the worst. because he's the one that set up the roller coaster ride, and everybody else was just trying to replicate what he did. What did Solomon do? Well, the narrative turns in 1 Kings 7. So you're reading, and he's breaking all these Deuteronomy rules. And if you know Deuteronomy, and the readers are going to know Deuteronomy, they're going to, oh my, that's right, he did that, that's right, Deuteronomy says not to do that. And then we get to the draw in 1 Kings 7, or the latter half of the first part of 1 Kings 7 is that he takes a 13-year hiatus from building the house of the Lord. David did not roll like that. First thing David does in 2 Samuel is build the house of God. He didn't build the house of God. What happened was the prophet Nathan came to him and said, you can't build this because, you got blood on your hands, bro. And but Solomon's going to build the temple. He's like, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to set up the tabernacle. When the tabernacle is sorted, then David starts to go to war. But his priority was getting God a house and then storing up money for his son. Okay, so he was thinking, take care of God now and then take care of God generationally, right? Total priority. Solomon's like, okay, building, and I'm going to take 13 years off, and I'm going to build my house, going to build my girlfriend a house, going to build my other girlfriend a house. And that is where the narrative really shifts, right? So you start going down the roller coaster. He stops working on the house of God, prioritizes his own house. Then he starts to marry all these foreign women, and these foreign women start to turn his heart. And then he starts to build all these altars. He even builds an altar to, like, the worst god, Moloch, the child sacrificing god. So this, woo, and it's like, whoa. So that's where Manasseh, the worst king, got his ideas. Yeah, he got them from Solomon, who was kind of actually the worst. Because, like, he was Solomon. How does a guy who has the most wisdom from God end up being the biggest idiot? And this is what happened, is you can be super smart, but if you don't protect your heart will hijack your head. And many of us, that's kind of what's going on. I mean, consider the political realm. There's a lot of smart people who have bleeding hearts, and they're irresponsible in their leadership, and everybody ends up dying. It's like stories of the Titanic. When the Titanic went down, the life rafts and the boats, they could only fit so many people in them, and there were people screaming, "Help me, let me in!" And they would knock those people over the head with some leader had to save the 50 people in the boat by killing the guy trying to get into the boat, who would jeopardize everybody. That's leadership. It's an ugly job, and people don't want to do it. And that's parenting. Parenting is whacking a kid over the head and going, you're drunk, you're 3, you don't know what's good for you. Daddy knows what's good for you, and iPhone is not good for you. And so you're going to cry the tears. Oh, I'm 12. Oh, give me an iPhone. Everybody else has an iPhone. Yeah, so you're not getting social media. Cry your tears, but your tears now will save you from worse tears later. And that's the call of leadership. But sadly, we have, today in our churches and in our politics, et cetera, we have people who their hearts have been taken over by the cult of empathy. And empathy is good for your family. But judges should have zero empathy. Zero, zilch, nada. And if my wife tells me that she was accosted on a train, I should believe her. But if a woman tells a judge that she was accosted on a train, he should not believe her. He should wade through the facts and find out if there's any truth to it. He should not employ empathy because empathy creates bias. But what happens is Solomon gets into bed with 900 women, and he gets close to them, and they're all these foreign women, and there's nothing wrong with somebody from another country. It wasn't the fact that they were foreign, because we already have precedent for a foreign woman like Rahab the prostitute, or Ruth the Moabite, who they're foreign, but they embrace Yahweh of Israel. It has nothing to do with their ethnicity. It has everything to do with their God. And so these foreign women bring their foreign gods, and the smartest man alive, who has all the wisdom from God, his heart, because of his empathy and because of his proximity to these women, gets hijacked. If he was smart, he would have never been with them. But he's got oh baby, you need an altar to sacrifice little children to, and so I'm going to build that for you. That must be so hard for you. I'm going to put myself in your shoes, rather than going, no, I'm loyal to Yahweh, and this is not good for my kingdom. And so, in fact, we're divorced. Done. Dunzel, Washington. This is a major issue in Christianity, a major issue in world politics today. Very, very smart people whose brain gets hijacked by their stupid, unguarded heart. And that is the story of Solomon.